Since Monday with this incredible group of musicians. It was a big pleasure. And as the rehearsal went on, they developed their instrumental and you can sit down here. You can sit down here. And as the rehearsal went on, they developed more and more their instrumental and gestural proposals. So I feel obliged to reduce the text I have prepared after the meeting, so it will be, we will finish around 2, so no problem with that. And I really think that it's much better that way. So just a few things to contextualize how we work here. Starting with a small review on the situation I've observed in various countries in Europe and beyond. Despite very interesting examples in major institutions, it's still difficult to integrate cross-disciplinary reflective movements into the student curriculum. The main difficulty is to include this approach at the same level in student curricula as orchestral session or mid-chamber session and so on and so on. Integrated moments in which students find themselves as researchers, without specific deadline or concept, without any real value other than that provided by the time spent collaborating and researching in a group. Students should have in his course, his curriculum, the time to experiment, to discover or rediscover, not about something which would be in addition. I mean, by learning a new method, new technique, new device, new repertoire, but coming from the outside, but rather something which comes from himself, okay? Which is based in his own sensitivity, own listening, and his own poetic. It's very important to think that we are, in front of us, not just students who play very well with technical attitude, but more of that is a global person. And we have to welcome all the poetic of the studio. And poetic will be a mix between taste, expectation, memory culture of the students. When I say researchers, in the sense that students draw on what they already know, because most of the time they learn different things, and they learn something, then another one, but we don't have enough time to take the benefit of what they learn, and here they must improve that they already know a lot of things. And it's a way for them to grasp different sound and musical space that will challenge them and that will move them. This step aside in their curriculum is necessary. It's often one of the ways for a performer to continue to progress with their instrument by putting it into perspective while integrating it into a broader approach. This approach corresponds to a concept of composer, artist, and programmers. It's by diversifying our educational approaches that we, as an institution, will be able to support students in the new social, economic, and technological challenges facing the artistic and cultural world today. In the learning process, I'm a bit radical, but in the learning process, we have two time. Okay? Time of learning, time of appropriation. Most often linked to the instrument is repertoire, tradition, school, and so on and so on. And we can draw a parallel, the time of expansion, atomization or time of dynamic, and the time of reconciliation, restoration of a kind of harmony with oneself. Expansion is an essential time of exploration, the time for enthusiasm, for meeting other, adventure, going out to understand or simply discover different artistic movements that make up today's artistic landscape. And this first step is very, very important and necessary, provided that students don't get lost with that. On the other side, reconciliation means sitting down, just sitting down, reconnecting with oneself, with our original ambition, reclaiming a time of often confiscated by an extremely busy schedule. We have the schedule of the class, the time of the conservatory, production, and also the students' parallel project. This time is a time for perspective, reflection, time for wondering why, how, for whom. Finally, when we do this stuff. Here in this presentation, it's about reconnecting with the sound and its complexity. In an intuitive way, experiencing a moment and not just playing it. It's the difference between thinking the stage as a representation space and the stage and the stage as a meeting place. Meeting between musician, artists of all disciplines. We know that as performer, it's often possible to hide ourselves behind our virtuosity. Here is this kind of frame with this kind of dispositive. Virtuosity is transformed into listening, presence, conviction, and embodiment. Precisely because there is no technique, we can have technique, tradition, school, or method for this kind of device. And all of these things, technique, tradition, schools, or method, are to invent or to reinvent constantly. And it's the base of a musician life, because it's the same thing for every time we play or we play a piece. We have to rethink all the things. So here it's time for reflection, putting into perspective the notion of creation, interpretation, and staging. And more generally, questioning mediation and audiences, fundamental subject for anyone pursuing a professional perspective, whom, where, and why. Receiving our relationship to the body, to the movement, to carry and to be carried away by the sound that one produces, to surprise oneself with the renewed listening. world is in constant urgency. And the musical world is not the last one for that. We're in a kind of pulling of activity that is supposed to demonstrate dynamism and quality. As for dynamism, the number of activity can be a marker, but quality sometimes doesn't sit well with this kind of abundance of proposal and events. And sometimes the conservatory, oh cool, even mine, oh sorry, even mine, amplifies this dynamic of production. Of course, it's important to be in the movement, okay, of the artistic world, but it's a question of balance. This dynamic is a reality, and this dynamic can have a wrong side. I mean, I've observed in recent years an increase in stress and depression among students. And I have to tell you that I never seen that before in France. And nowadays, it's quite normal that a lot of students are depressed or stressed. And it's a problem because, of course, there is an international context. And we had COVID and so on, but even before, there were signs indicating a significant increase in stress and depression in the new generation of students, anyway in France. And from the side of the students often find themselves in a dynamic of emulation that can often lead to an unspeakable competition. That's why it's important for me to find, and it's a rich chance to be here, to have this kind of place of exploration, it's important to find specific spaces and moments to share sound, form, intuition with students, and it's also a way to make them in confidence with themselves. And it's also a kind of, I feel that these kind of things, it's very short of course, and you can imagine 1 year with that, but it's a kind of therapy. And for me it's very, very important. I read a few time ago a book written by a French philosopher, Tristan Garcia. The title is The Intense Life, a Modern Obsession. And he wrote something about routine. Routine is daily work and so on and so on, you know that. And he said that. And for me it's very important in the frame of our curriculum, our school perspective and so on and so on. He wrote, routine is nothing other than the price we pay for the very possibility of feeling and thinking about our intensities. Remove the threat, the risk of routine, and you simultaneously eliminate the opportunity to experience anything intense and to make it strong over time. For me, it's very, very, very important. It belongs to the two steps of a life of a musician, but of course, a life of a student. Routine is, for me, routine is the time for rebalancing. Obviously, it's not about doing nothing, of course, but rather imagining another more reflective approach that allows the student to truly step back and thus adopt a different perspective on their journey. When they arrive in a conservatory, most of the time students must prove themselves all the time, play everywhere, and above all, without interruption. And they are consistently brilliant. They must be consistently brilliant. Parameters that prevent students from truly reflecting on their own career path, ambition, and project. We have several opportunities in our background, auditions, competitions, international, national, and so on and so on. And sometimes this kind of important moment decide for the student and for the teacher. This kind of opportunity can be both positive and negative, but at the very least, one must be able to take the time to reflect on it, to question it, or risk becoming kind of puppet just following external event. For me, I'm always looking for many years an approach that allowed for truly intimate listening to sound through its gestural appropriation, without any requirement other than being here and now, and without any prerequisites, just to rediscover a renewed curiosity of the ear, finding oneself in a sound, and then trying to maintain that same intuition with one's instrument. essential transmission of a repertoire in a culture, and a culture with the need to, we need to evolve, you know. And it's a very important moment for the institution because I deeply feel that we are changing paradigms. We should gradually, for me, move from a conservatory frame to an art school of music frame. For years, students' curriculum has been more than just a class with their instrumental teacher, of course. However, it remains that just as difficult to implement cross-circular projects between classes, departments, and institutions. What does it mean? Art school means working together for different projects with a broader framework composed by different teachers related to music, performance, dance, scenography, design, thus implementing new artistic approaches directly linked to the space and the audience. A new pedagogical framework that goes in complement and enrich the student existing curriculum. Because I'm already quite late, so I just finished with three words with, to me, very important. I like to remind myself that in the 12th century, in medieval Italy, the word métier, métier means job. So we have a job because we need to eat. Job is, okay, we need to eat, so it's a métier. Another word is profession. It means that you must believe in what you do. This is very important one. And the third one is il talento. Il talento in medieval Italian means desire. Not playing more than billions of people, no, just desire. And if we can keep in mind those three words, need, faith, desire, I think it could be could be an interesting thing. So thank you.
Anybody has any questions for Geoffroy and his Wonderland tea? Questions?
Question for the students. Can I have a question for the students? How is your experience? How do you feel after performing like this? And not using any instrument? คำถามคือประสบการณ์เป็นไงบ้างพอสัปดาห์นี้หลังจากที่เรียนกับอาจารย์ไปแล้วที่ลองทดลองทำแบบนี้รู้สึกว่ามันเปลี่ยนอะไรในตัวเราไหม Has it changed anything in there? สังเกตได้ปะ
Having fun and because using herself as a medium instead of instrument, she used herself as a medium to explore this experience.